So today our concept is about Proc Transpose procedure, which we call as Proc Transpose. Okay, Proc Transpose is the procedure that we use to convert long data sets to wide data sets and vice versa, wide to long. Okay, wide data sets we can also call as horizontal data sets, and long data sets we can also call as vertical data sets. When you convert a long data set to a wide data set, that you call as normalization, and when you convert vice versa, wide to long, you call that as denormalization. Okay, so how a long data set or a short wide data set looks like is, see, I'll show the example for the long data set. So here this long 1, 2, 3, 4, all these files represent the long data sets, and wide 1, 2, 3, 4 represents the wide data sets. Okay, so in today's session I'll solve long 1 and long 2, converting transposing it to wide 1 and wide 2, and similarly wide 1 and wide 2 I'll work on converting that to, like, transposing that to long data sets. And your assignment is long 3 and long 4, transpose to wide 3 and wide 4, wide 3 and wide 4, transpose that to long 3 and long 4. Okay, so let us go to this long 1 file. This is how a long data set looks like. Okay, so as in the same observation, the same, see here, for the same ID 1, the variable names are also there here. Okay, in this data file. For long 1, these are the variable names: ID, year, and income. Okay, ID, year, and income. These are the variable names. See here, for the same ID, if you observe here, for the same ID, the income values in 96, 98, and 98 are given in 3 different lines. Similarly for ID 2 as well. Similarly for ID 3. For the same ID value, the data is spreaded into 3 different lines, right? As in 3 different observations. This kind of data, so this type of data we call as long data sets. Now you can represent the same data in this way. In wide one. You can also represent the same data in this way, right? Wide 1 income variable names. Okay, see here, for ID 1 in 96 year, the income is 40,000. You can also represent like this. For ID 1 in income in 96 year is 40,000. In 97 it is 45,000. In 98 it is 41,000. Okay, same. So here you are spreading the same observation data into multiple lines. Here you are just representing it in one line. Okay, this you call as wide. This type of data you call as wide data, and this type of data you call, this type of representation you call as long data sets, vertical, horizontal. Okay, now suppose your input is like this. Okay, now you have to transpose your data into this way to get this kind of output. Make use of the transpose procedure. Okay, Proc Transpose. In this transpose procedure, which data you are going to convert, give that data set name. Data equal to, our data is present in text file. How do you bring that data into SAS? What is the procedure that we use? In file, yeah. Okay, data. I'll give the dataset name as test. No, I'll give the dataset name as, here it is income data, right? So I'll give the dataset name as income. Okay. In file, give the path, input, and run. Okay. In file. In which file the data is present? In long 1 file. Go here, take the properties, security. Okay. This one. Next one, input. And what are the variable names? These are the variable names, right? I can take it from here only. All are numeric variables only. Okay. So first create the data set. Next, on which data you want to transpose? Income data. Out equal to. So if you want to keep the resultant transposed data in a separate data set, then you can create that resultant data set by using out option. Out, I'll create the data set as income 1. Okay. output dataset. In Proc Transpose, there are 3 different statements that we make use of. Not necessary that you have to use all the statements, but depending on the data that you are transposing, you have to make use of either all the 3 statements or any of the statements. Okay. The 3 statements are ID statement, where statement, and by statement. These are the 3 different statements that you have to make use of. In ID statement, what you do is, here you assign the you give the variable names. See here, so which variable data values from the input are converting as the variable names in the output, that variable name you give in the ID statement. Okay. If you see here, if you look at this year, in the input year is the variable, and this 96, 97, 98, 96, 97, 98, these are the data values, right? But if you look at the resultant data set, this year variable data values 96, 97, 98, they are getting converted as the variable names. Okay, so that kind of variables you give in the ID statement. So which variable data values from the input are getting converted as the variable names in the output, give that variable name here. Okay, here. And in where statement, which variable values are actually changing their shape, like actually getting transposed. If you look at the income variable values here, for the same ID, look at the same ID only. For the same ID, they are present in vertical way, right? Long. But in the resultant data set, they are actually changing their shape, right? From long to wide, from vertical to horizontal. Give that variable name in the where statement. So which variable values are actually getting transposed? Okay. Give that variable name here, income. Okay. In by statement, by what reference they are getting transposed? So here see, ID variable for ID 1 96 here 40,000 is the income. Here for ID 1 in 96 here 40,000 is the 40,000 is the income. So based on what we are transposing, what reference? ID variable reference. So in by statement, by using what variable you are actually transposing your data, like reference variable, give that variable here by ID. But whenever you use by statement, sort the data. You have to sort the data by using proc sort procedure. Okay. Sort the data by ID variable. But here, since the data is already in sorted order, you no need to write that program. Okay. But generally you have to write. So you transpose the data. If you want to print it in output window, you can print it. If you want to view as a data set, view as a data set in work library, income 1. If you want to print it, you can print it in proc print data equal to income 1 and run. See? If you observe here, this underscore name underscore is the automatic variable. So which variable values are actually getting transposed? In the where statement, what is the name that you have given? Income, right? So which variable values are actually getting transposed? It will create an automatic variable underscore name underscore for keeping that particular variable name. Okay. In other ways, you can say that in this automatic variable underscore name underscore, whatever variables that you have listed in the where statement, it will contain all that variable names here. Okay. Right. And if you observe here, you are getting an underscore, right, before 96, 97, 98, because a SAS variable name should not start with a number, no? So that's the reason by default, by itself, it is assigning the first character as underscore and then subsequent characters. Which variable data values? These are the data values that are turning as the variable names, right? So it will assign that particular names. Okay. Now here you can make use of some options. If you want to drop this underscore name underscore, you can drop it. Just after the out, you write in parenthesis drop equal to underscore name underscore. Okay. Now execute. See. Okay. Now suppose if you want to rename this underscore name underscore, then you can make use of the option called name. equal to whatever name that you want to give to that underscore name underscore, you can give it. Suppose if you want to give the name as, say like some X, you can give. Similarly, for suppose say that if you want to replace this underscore, okay, before the variable you have an underscore, right? If you want to replace this underscore with any specific text, you can by making use of prefix option. Prefix equal to, okay, prefix equal to whatever name that you want to give, you can give. Say like income, INC you want to give as INC. See, okay, that underscore will get replaced by the text that you give. This is how you can transpose. Are you clear with this program? Shweta Pushpa? Okay. Now the next one is, here how many columns did we transpose? Only one column, right? Only income column values got transposed. Now suppose if you have to transpose two columns data, okay, then let us take an example. That kind of data we have in long 2, okay. So here we have two different columns. These are the two columns that you have to transpose, okay. And that two column names are long 2, right? Income and spend, okay. These are the column names. First step will be same importing the data, okay. So import the data. If I change the file name, that will be sufficient. And year, income and spend, okay. Execute. I'll give the variable name as test. Sorry, dataset name as test. Okay. Now, Proc Transpose Data equal to test. Out equal to, I'll give as test 1. These two options we'll use accordingly after looking at the output. Okay. Now tell me which variable values you have to transpose. Income and spend, both the columns, right? So write here income and spend. Okay. See, because we want to transpose both the columns, no? So these two columns data we want to transpose. Okay. So write income and spend. Okay. Right. Now execute the program. See how the values are getting transposed for the same variable, sorry, for the same ID, two different observations, right? One is for income and the other one is for spend, okay, by year. See, the next two observations are for ID 2, income and spend, okay, for all the 3 years. Similarly, so here, first it is transposing the income variable, and for the same ID, it is transposing the spend. Like whatever variables that you have listed here, it is transposing the data one by one, and it is giving you as that many number of observations for that ID variable, right? For that reference ID variable value. Okay. So which is nothing but like kind of stacking, no? If you take the same ID, see, whatever variables that you are transposing, you are getting that result as like stacking. Okay. This is how you get the result. Suppose say that if you want the output in some other way, as in if you want this kind of output. Okay. So this kind of output is ID income, okay, and income and spend, like this, okay, like first income rows and then after that first income columns and after that spend columns, okay, like side by side, not one after the other, as like this. In that case, what you have to do is depending on the requirement, so depending on the output what we have to get, you can make use of the transpose programming, okay. If you want the output to be like this, like the variables that what you are transposing, if you want the result as like stacking, see, by ID, income and spend you are transposing, but you want one after the other, right, as like stacking. Then you have to follow this simple transpose procedure. If you want the output like this, as like merging, okay, income and spend as like one column after the other column, then you have to first you transpose income variable, okay, and then you transpose spend variable. Finally, you merge these two data sets. Okay, what the data that you import, it will be same. Transpose data equal to test, out equal to test one. Uh, okay, first you transpose for income, okay, and then you transpose for spend. Okay, write the same program for transposing spend. Mm, okay, out equal to test 2. Okay, I'll give you as test 2. Okay, see, but both the data sets have the common variable names, right? Like underscore name underscore 696 97 98. Here also see the data values are different. Okay, if you observe both the outputs, but the variable names are same, no? Because of the same variable names, the data will overlap. How to change the variable names? Name option for changing that automatic variable underscore name underscore. I'll give it as some x variable. Okay, and prefix, by using prefix I'll give it as this is income data, right? I'll give the prefix as income. Here it is spend data, no, I'll give the prefix as spend. Okay, the name I'll give it as y equal to. Okay, now we execute both the programs. See, now the variable names are different, no? Now you merge these two data sets. Okay, data say like test 3 merge. Okay, test 2, test 1 and 2, right? Test 1, test 2, okay. By what variable? ID variable, okay. And run. Okay. Merge test 1, test 2 by ID and run. If you want to print it in output window, you can print it. Okay. This is nothing but test 3. See? Okay. Now, if you want to keep these automatic variables, keep it. If you want to drop them, you can drop them too. Okay. If you want to drop them, so just write here another drop statement, drop x, y. Okay. See, this is how you can get the output. So it just depends like what kind of output you want. According to that, you can write the transpose program. Okay. Are you clear with this one? Transposing long data sets to wide data sets, as in vertical data sets to horizontal data sets. 3 of you. Yes, okay. So now we'll see the other way, converting horizontal to vertical. Okay. So let us like same vice versa only. Okay. So first you have to import the data, right? Your data is present in wide 1 and wide 2. So first I'll import this data. Because of the same path, if I change the file name, that should be sufficient. Change the file name. Okay, wide1.txt. And what variables we have in wide 1? Check it. Income, this ones, right? So now we have the data. Suppose say like this is the data. Okay, we have it like this. Now we have to make the data like this. Okay. How do you do that? Same transpose data equal to, I'll give a test, out equal to test 1. So according to the output that we get, we'll make use of the options. Okay. So as I told you, these are the 3 statements that we use in proc transpose, but not necessary that wide one. Okay. So this is your input and your output should look like this, as a long one. Okay. Okay, ID. So your output should look like this. I can see here. For the same ID, all the three year income values like 96, 97 and income 98, all the three income values are present in the same line. Now you have to spread it into three different lines. Okay. Converting from horizontal to vertical. In this case, see here ID. Now tell me here, are we converting any variable data values into variable names in the resultant data set? No, right? None of the data values are getting converted as the variable names. So we don't need to make use of ID statement here. So remove it. Okay. Var statement. In this var statement, which variable values are actually getting transposed? These three values here are present horizontally, but at ID level we have to check, right? So at ID level, these three values are present horizontally. Now these three values we are transposing, right, to vertical. So represent. So which variable values are actually getting transposed? Income 96, 97, 98. These variable values are actually getting transposed. Okay. So represent that in var statement. By what reference? ID reference. Right here as ID. Execute. Did we create the data set? See? Okay. 96, 97, 98, 96, 97, 98. Okay. Now, here what we have to do? We have to extract the year, right? How do you extract the year? Now you can make use of either like substr function or scan function you can make use of, right? So make use of the, here I can use scan function like -1. So if I write -1 and if I declare this underscore as the delimiter, then I get only 96 scanning from backwards. Okay, use the data step for here. Data, what is this? Test1, set test1. Okay, so I have to create a new variable called here equal to, right here scan of, what is that variable name? Underscore name underscore automatic variable, right here underscore name underscore -1 and declare the delimiter as underscore. Okay, and run. If you want to run this, print it. Oh no, why? Comma, no comma here. Okay. See, you got the year. Now you can drop this automatic variable, drop this automatic variable. Okay. So by using drop statement, drop underscore name underscore. Okay. See. Now if you want to change this column 1, okay, if you want to change it, either you can use prefix. If you use prefix, okay, the COL will get replaced by the text that you assign. Okay. If you want to completely rename that, make use of the rename statement. Okay, rename COL1 to income. So rename COL1 to income. Okay, see. Okay, are you clear with this part? Right. Now the next one is how many set of variable, we have transposed all this three columns data into one column, right? Now suppose say that if you have to transpose the given data into two different columns as like this. Okay. So here what you do is transpose these three columns data into one column and these three columns data into another column. Okay. See, these three columns data transpose into one column and these three columns data transpose into another column as like this. Okay. Now, in that case, what you do is first you transpose your income variables. Okay. So what is the data set name? Y2, right? Let us say Y2. And what is your input data? This is your input data. Okay. Input your data. You'll follow the same procedure, there will be no difference. First you transpose income variables, okay, and then you transpose your spend variables, okay, instead of income, right here spend, okay, transpose your spend, create another output data set. Now, print both the data sets in output window just to see. See, if you observe again same variable names, right? So if you want to change that variable names, what are the options? You can make use of name option. I'll give it as X, okay, and prefix option. So when you use prefix option, that COL will get replaced with the name that you give, okay. Here also same name option, okay, and prefix equal to give any name and spend, okay. Now you execute, print it, output window. See, now you merge these two data sets. Same process, there will be no difference. Okay, so merge these two, test 1 and test 2. Okay, to create test 3. Okay, by ID. So if you want to, like, we'll see first. Wait, let us first merge these two. Okay, now we have to extract the year variable, right? Either take X or Y, any variable you can take. Okay, so how do you extract year? Say year equal to scan of, okay, X comma -1 comma delimiter I'll give as underscore. Okay, okay, right now. So drop, after that we can drop X and Y, right? Drop X and Y. If you want to rename the variables, okay, what are the variable names that we have? Income 1 and spend 1, right? If you want to rename to income and spend, you can rename. Make use of rename statement. Rename income, income 1 to income and spend 1 to spend. Okay. Execute. See. Okay. Like this you can transpose. So if you have to transpose like certain columns data into two different columns, then you can make use of this procedure. Are you clear? So here what you are doing, all these columns data, these three columns you are transposing to one column and these three columns you are transposing to one another column, right? So you transpose separately the columns and then finally merge the resultant data sets. Clear? Three of you? Shweta, Ashish, right? Okay.